Hello all. So I want to speak to you today about a question I received over email, which basically was, why don't you wear a white coat, Jen? I think it might impart more respect since you are a naturopathic physician. And so I want to actually address this question. I think it's a great question, and part of it ties into really a philosophy of the doctor-patient relationship that I aspire to. So, first of all, just a little bit about the white coat and the history of it. Really, the white coat is given to medical students typically around your second year when you're about to start clinic. You're about to start seeing patients as a student doctor, and so the white coat imparts a little bit of this formality, this symbol that you're taking on a new role, you're stepping through this threshold into more actively learning to be a physician. And I like the symbolism in this respect. I like the fact that the white coat symbolizes really this idea that you as a physician are meant to be kind of a blank slate. Ideally you park your own stuff at the door, and really the interaction with a patient, to the extent that's possible, is meant to be about the patient. You know, it's often the case in medicine that, I mean, there was a study that was done up in Wisconsin, I believe, that I was told about in medical school, where physicians were told that patients were going to come in with microphones that were going to record the conversations that they were having with patients. The physicians all knew this was happening in this research, but they didn't know why. I mean, they weren't told the goal of the research. What was found was that in this setting of patients coming in through the door wearing microphones, 80% of the time the doctors talked about themselves. 80%. And some of the time it was my golf game or etc., right? So the white coat symbolizes this idea of parking your stuff at the door. I like that idea of the white coat. And as a student, you know, you're being reminded of that. It's also meant to be this symbol, this cloak of compassion, which I think is also a great symbol. The problem I see once you graduate and become a physician is that the white coat can contribute to asymmetry in the doctor-patient relationship, which I think the goal, and naturopathic medicine would say the goal is to create symmetry with a patient, to listen, to be on the same plane, not for there to be this massive distance, but to actually enter that space with someone and put aside your own stuff. You really don't want some kind of hierarchical relationship with your patient where, you know, you're on a pedestal and the patient is way down here and you're talking down to someone, right? Ideally, you're on the same plane and you're listening to each other, right? That's the point. So in that respect, I think the white coat can contribute to this asymmetry in the relationship, and therefore I choose not to wear it. Additionally, I mean, there is such a thing as white coat hypertension, where patients' blood pressure actually increases when they're in the presence of someone with a white coat. In a doctor's office, your blood pressure can go up more than it would at home or in other contexts, simply because you're anxious, you're nervous, you're thinking in your head, what if my blood pressure's high today, right? And that actually increases your blood pressure. So it's part of the reason you need more than one blood pressure reading to actually diagnose hypertension. And, you know, white coat hypertension is a well-known phenomenon in medicine. But I think it does speak to this idea, this piece of the relationship that ideally we want to get away from. In naturopathic medicine, we'd say, you know, the doctor-patient relationship is more about, again, symmetry, but the point of the symmetry is to foster this relationship of compassion and empathy and mutual respect, where you as the patient are the authority on what it's like to be you, you know, what your experience has been in life, who you are as a person, your core beliefs and how you feel about whatever it is that's occurring to you. So you're the authority on that. Nobody else can tell you what it's like to be you and to be in that space. And likewise, the physician brings in their expertise, their training. They're going to medical school and having learned about various things related to health. And so ideally, these two things come together on the table. I present to you what I think is going on, my training and understanding of something, and help you sort out what the issues are. But ultimately, the goal is for me to back away and allow you to be in a space to make a decision about your own health care, so that it's shared decision making. That's the goal. And so I think ultimately the white coat tends to undermine this. It tends to create more distance, which I don't see as a good thing in the context, especially in the context of mental health. Maybe there are other specialties where it makes a lot more sense. But in the context of mental health, I deliberately choose not to wear a white coat, and in fact I'm fairly casual. The other practical thing is, I live in Phoenix. It's kind of hot, so my wardrobe consists of pretty much a lot of tank tops and sleeveless type tops because it's hot. So just a practical thing. Gosh, we wouldn't want to be practical, would we? No. So if you have any comments or questions about, your own experience with the doctor-patient relationship and how that has played out for you, I'd love to hear about it. Feel free to post them below, and I'll try to get back with you. Additionally, hopefully we'll talk a little more about this doctor-patient relationship, because I think it's an important topic to bring up. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll chat next time.